you'll sometimes hear misgendering described in really strong terms, like
Hmm.
harm or even that misgendering is violence. What does that look like? So, why do you think people reach for that language? And when is it accurate?
Hmm.
And maybe when is it not? If that's not
Right.
too inflammatory to ask,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
exactly. Without discounting anybody's
Of
assessment of
course.
their own experience. And, I definitely give freedom for folks to make that
Yeah.
self-determination. I'm thinking more broadly that, from a like understanding perspective, typically there is kind of there's a kind of a spectrum of violence, and emotional violence can be at play for folks.
Hmm.
I don't think there's any physical violence involved, but I think just because something is not physically violent doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt in a very deep, profound way. And
Absolutely.
I think sometimes people can kind of dismiss emotional violence
Hmm.
against folks. um, I think when it comes down to whether something is or is not, a lot of it comes to what somebody's intentions are behind what words they use. And if somebody is intentionally misgendering somebody, so wanting to misgender with the intent to harm somebody, that can be really painful, and like feel very risky, because it's not just the words. It's like, what else is somebody willing to do to hurt somebody,
Hmm.
involving their gender, and that can put people on high alert to see if other things could be at play, and it could escalate to physical violence, right? It could start with this emotional harm, and then if there are no repercussions, which sometimes or a lot of the times there aren't, and
Right.
then people are like, oh, well, there's no, I can keep going, essentially.
Hmm.
And so then it can translate to much worse. And so that's why I always encourage organizations to take this very seriously and intervene as early as possible so that it doesn't escalate to
Hmm.
uh, more and already enough. And certainly in case law, that is substantiated that this is a big deal.
Yeah.
There have been a handful of cases involving intentional misgendering or not using somebody's proper pronouns, and always ruled in favor of the trans and non-binary folks, because it's just a basic decency to use
Hmm.
somebody's proper pronouns, or don't use them. Don't use any pronouns, right? So there are options, but and that's where I think it's really important to understand the weight of it, even if perhaps you may not have a personal understanding of that
Hmm.
experience. There's ways to not figure out how to have that experience, but just kind of approximate it, through some self reflection.
Hmm.
But there's this still is a big deal, and so
Hmm.
to have people take it seriously, I think is really important, and to listen to people and what their response is, and I recognize that it could be a range, but there may be some who are very upset, and it's just
Yeah.
because maybe they've misgendered for the 20th time that day. It's like we're talking
Hmm.
about severe frequency here. So just
Hmm.
yeah, just to really take that to heart.
I think that's something that's often missed too. I see this on social media sometimes when I'm doing the social media for Trans Focus, is that even that statistic of people getting misgendering every day, people sometimes think of that as like, oh, they get misgendered once that day. And it's like,
Mhm,
even once is bad. But
mhm,
actually, if you're somebody who's getting misgendered frequently or
mm,
every day, it's probably not just the one time. It's probably almost every interaction you have with someone. And
yeah,
that is so heavy to carry and
mm,
very distressing for a lot of people.
yeah, absolutely. To the point where, and we haven't talked about it yet, but social exclusion or social isolation is a
Hmm.
huge consequence. At some point, some people are not wanting to manage that level of frequency, or that amount of misgendering, and so they're like, I won't bother to leave my room, like,
Hmm.
and so. And as soon as somebody disconnects, that sets them up for all kinds of mental health consequences. Like, we're social
Absolutely.
creatures, so that's something that's if we become aware of, it's helpful if people change their patterns around this to help people so they don't go to those more dire, understandable but very dire
Mhm.
coping mechanisms for this type of experience. So